Mayuresh Joshi of William O'Neill joins us on the show. Hi, Mayuresh. Good afternoon. Good to see you in. What's your view on this name? Sunteck Realty didn't do much in 2023 odd when most of the real estate stocks did well. And it was underperforming. But in the last 2 months, it's come back and it's moved in style from 400 to around 600 rupees. Your take?
Afternoon, Nigel. I think, that's been a very smart move by Sunteck as well. The recent update that has come through, not really gone through the numbers, but I think the increase in pre-sales and collections have been quite robust on a year-on-year basis. Again, I think the entire construct, when you're probably looking at the real estate market, and we're probably looking at the Mumbai metropolitan region market, the MMR region as we're calling it, it has got a very strong foothold out here. So right from aspirational luxury to uber luxury, as they call it, they've got projects all around. They've also probably done the right amount of allocations in terms of whatever they need to acquire. And therefore, I think from a balance sheet construct with net debt and a very strong operational performance till date, I think it's in excess of 18 or 19%. They're also doing a little bit of their annuity income portfolio expansion as well. Which probably means that the rental incomes should probably also aid their overall balance sheet growth. So yeah, I think the numbers are probably stacking up in this entire real estate cycle for Sunteck Realty as well.
Big move, Mayuresh, today in Godfrey Phillips, 17% up, large volumes. Its year-to-date gain now stands at 125%. Anything you've picked up?
Absolutely, no, not really. But I think the expectation is that every time we near or head towards a budget, what probably happens in terms of the syntax. I think a large part of that has already got gestated by the market. So I think that the market is not really expecting any kind of additional burden to probably come through for companies like Godfrey Phillips as an example. But just as a cautionary note, probably you just need to look into the contingent liabilities of the balance sheet of Godfrey Phillips. They still have some payouts to be done if something does not go their way.
What about IT? Any change in your assessment about IT for the next 6 months based on what TCS, HCL Tech? Does it have a different weightage in your portfolio now? Any EPS changes?
No, not really. So I think it's still equal weight as we see it. I think we continue holding in our global portfolio a couple of these mid-cap IT stocks, Persistent, KPIT, but a clear disclaimer, these stocks are something that we have probably got at much lower levels. But looking at the commentaries, you probably expected to see, as you rightly pointed out, I think a couple of more quarters in terms of some genuine recovery starting to take place, specifically in key sectors like BFSI, retail, manufacturing, whether that coincides with the rate cut cycle in the US and globally as well. I think that will lay impetus in terms of a base case scenario in terms of the earnings recovery for the sector as a whole. Obviously, pricing in terms of how deals are expected to take place, consumer discretionary spending specifically for large million or billion dollar deals, which will impact IT companies and specifically large cap IT companies from an earnings perspective, should start taking shape. But our own take is that for a large part of this financial year, there is much of an earnings change that we are probably expecting for large cap IT. Mid cap might still continue outperforming the large cap.
Telecom has taken a bit of a break after those tariff hikes finally came through. Mayuresh, good afternoon. Idea is up about 3.5%-4% today for a change. Otherwise, it's sort of fallen from the highs. What do you like in this space?
Afternoon, Prashant. So I think a large part of the move has happened with the telecom operators. So I think the news has now got gestated in. And the price action already was a testimony a few weeks before the price hikes happened. So now it will go through a phase of consolidation. But yes, I think these tariff hikes will mean better operating leverage, better cash flows, and therefore better deleveraging, at least for companies like an Airtel. So I think we continue our hold rating onto stocks like an Airtel. What we probably are expected to see is something like an Indus-Star, right? Because if the action is expected to continue, you've already seen some aggressive plans happen in terms of BSNL's price cuts as well, in terms of how they are probably viewing the entire space. Our take is that Indus-Star is an example where the tenancy ratio should continue very, very strongly. Vodafone Idea's existence itself will mean that the business from Vodafone will continue. The deleveraging on the balance sheet should happen over the next few quarters as their cash flows improve. So I think one actionable that we see in terms of our EPS RS rating parameters is Indus-Star's. That is something that we can continue.
Away from sectors, any individual other stocks on your radar which is making it to you, the portfolio on the long side?
Yeah, so I think we added Pennar Industries, Prashant, a few weeks back. Our own take is that the segments that they operate out of, the engineered products segment, which caters to railways, infrastructure, manufacturing, should continue doing well. Their pre-engineering business segment also should continue well. They've just commissioned a recent plant in the last week itself, but their order book is decent as far as India is concerned. Their US business asset should have a very decent growth in the next few quarters and years as well. And therefore, the management is very, very hopeful in terms of the overall consolidated EBIT margins actually moving from that 5% to 7.5% in the next 12 to 18 months. If that probably takes place as what the management is guiding for, there can be a huge scope in terms of earnings expansion that can continue over the next few years, which provides a base case scenario in terms of earnings and return ratios improving quite significantly. So Pennar is something that we're liking as a long-term focus item.
Got that. Mayuresh, thank you very much for joining in.